It's that time of the year again to redeem ourselves of operators not gotten due to bad luck or skipped due to upcoming banners. The 6-star Selector is the best value item you can purchase in Arknights. For $30, you can pick a 6-star you've really wanted, or pick a 6-star that will bolster your account's strength. As has been the trend recently, 6-stars have been generally pretty strong, so there are many great operators to choose from. That is why I'm here to give you a general guideline on who you might want to think about picking up if you are unsure. To keep the video short, I'll be only looking at the best value units, putting them into best and top categories, as you are going to be spending $30. So I want to recommend operators that will give you the most bang for your buck. This ticket goes up to and includes Ascalon. So with all that out of the way, let's talk operators. Chubai has a nice mix of damage and CC at her disposal. While she does lack Res Shred, if you pair up with Suzu or Ines, Chubai becomes a damage dealing monster. Operators with any amounts of CC will always be highly valued. Chubai also shows her usefulness in being able to cheese many things in IS-5, so if you are an IS player, she comes with that nice little extra benefit. Stainless is the best pure support in the game. The Boy Cat has skills that could fit any situation, from granting extra attack to your operators, to helping any offensive recovery unit get their skill quickly. Stainless really is the cure-all miracle for any operator that has a mediocre kit. Stainless's utility is not to be understated, even if he is not the most flashy. Jessica is a jack-of-all-trades unit. She has high cyclability with damage on her skill 2 that also improves her survivability due to getting dodge on that skill. As an additional benefit with her mod, Jessica on S2 becomes a very good unit at revealing invis enemies. Her skill 3 is the big damage skill that also works as CC due to the stun that she inflicts when placing her shield. The shield allows her to bait range damage, keeping her and other units safe, as well as making Jessica herself effectively a 5-block operator. Typhon is your best friend if you want to enjoy the calm of AFK Knights. Typhon S2 will be the skill you use most of the time due to its AFK nature and great damage. Her S3 is the skill you'll use when you want to deal high damage from a safe distance. This will be mostly used against bosses. Dorothy is a great utility pick that comes paired with pretty high damage. Her skill 2 allows her to bind and stall out enemies. These binds can keep dangerous enemies from reaching your front line, while also keeping them in place, allowing your other units to deal damage safely. Her S3 turns Arknights into Bomberman. With her S3, she's able to deal a good amount of CC with the slow her mines inflict, while dealing large amounts of damage, more so if she has Mod 3. You can chain these mines together to deal massive amounts of damage to enemies quite easily, all the while slowing them down and giving your team some breathing room. Zola is a fun high damage dealing pick. He suffers from the curse of being a single block, yet he more than makes up for it with his 2 skills. With his skill 2, he's able to effectively become a Reaper guard. S2 also allows him to take advantage of his 2 busted SP talents, making S2 very spammable. His S3, while harder to spam, is a nice high power long range skill that allows Zola to make up for his 1-block nature. He is an expensive option, however, since he does require Mod 3 to be a max effectiveness. That rounds out our top units for this list, and it's now time to move on to the best units, the ones that will return the most on your investment of $30. Reed is one of the best casters in the game that also happens to have the ability to heal your units. Her ability to debuff enemies by lowering their attack on skill is very useful. It can save your units by letting them be able to tank hits they otherwise would not have been able to. Whether you choose their Reed Sandwich skill or their Reed Explosion skill, both provide very impressive amounts of healing, making her well worth the pick. Moinar is the second best sweeper in the game. You probably know what he does. You place him, wait 42 seconds, and then he deletes everything in his massive range. He will serve nicely in any stage you bring him to. He also serves as easy bait management, allowing you to ignore deployment order, which is a nice quality of life improvement. Ray finally joins the selection ticket and offers both great utility and damage. Ray's S3 is her claim to fame, as it has very impressive damage numbers while also having a relatively short skill cycle of 20 SP if she defeats an enemy. Not only does it have both those things, her S3 also provides CC with her bind, making enemies less dangerous by keeping them away from your front line. Ray also has her mod that makes her much easier to use due to the reduced redeployment time of the Sand Beast, making it easier to line up her skill cycle and the Sand Beast skill cycle. Dagon is the best sweeper in the game and is now available to be picked on the Selector ticket. Dagon is a powerhouse of a guard, with a high burst skill that has a short cycle time of only 30 SP. She is also another place unit anywhere and click the skill to win button. Unlike her high power compatriots, Dagon can both block and also does not perish after the usage of her skill. Frighten as a debuff is also massively useful as it can save Dagon herself until the next skill cycle, or save any units that are blocking dangerous enemies. Ascalon is another greatly underrated and skipped operator due to her replacement right before the Chapter 14 banner. Ascalon is a fantastic utility unit that can make most stages vastly easier due to her impressive amounts of slows she inflicts. Her S2 provides almost Mestima level slows, but instead of her skill cycle being 110 SP, it is only 20 SP, making it very spammable and forgiving to use. Her S3 is no slouch either, as the massive range and self-sustaining nature of it makes it quite the great skill. All in all, Ascalon is a fantastic unit worth the money. We finally reach my best pick this time around, and it goes to Ines again. Ines has unmatched utility. She has slow, bind, and invis reveal all in her kit while also generating DP and doing pretty good damage for a Vanguard. On top of all of those things, she's also a semi-fast redeploy with a very short cooldown of 35 seconds. She's great in both high-end content as well as your day-to-day stage clears. Ines just fills a lot of roles, freeing up your team slots for other operators. It is hard to recommend another top pick when Ines is solidly the second best unit in the game due to her overall usefulness in literally every game mode. There's no situation where taking Ines is a bad choice. All three of her skills are also useful in all forms of content, from daily gameplay to high-end CC and IS, and that is why she gets the top pick again. Some addendums I would like to add to help inform your choice. When looking at the next 6 months of shop debuts, Penance, Redalt, Lin, Shubai, Ines, Hole are all set to debut, so if you have some extra patience, you can wait to purchase these units with gold certs and pick someone else from the selector. There are 2 banners that are upcoming that could also influence your choices. The first is Join Op 17, featuring Ascalon, Dorothy, Posey, and Moinar. A good banner if you're missing 3 or 2 of them. The next is Dagon's Rerun, where she will appear at a 50% rate up. So if you like gambling, there is that for you. There's also a need to mention Colonel operators, since this time around they have their own ticket as well. Briefly going over them, Aya, Ifrit, Saria, and Thorns are all top operators for the Colonel selection. As for the best choices, Kyobi is the queen of CC, as she has proven time and time again that she is invaluable. Nightingale still shows her usefulness to this day, since she has the ability to grant res, and she brings great utility with the cages that can bait damage. Bagpipe is always going to be a good Vanguard pick, as she lets you use the flagpipe strategy, and she's also Scottish. And finally, Calcet rounds out this list, as her true damage will always be useful and allows you to ignore cringe dodge mechanics. So if you have patience, you can cert them from the shop, pick them on the build a banner, or get lucky with top operator tags. A brief touch on the Golden Glow versus LapplandAlter debate. Both are size grades to each other, with Lapland being better. Gigi has better skill cycles but has more RNG connected to her skill, while Lapland has longer skills with longer cycles but does more damage in the long run. If you plan to roll for Lapland, then there is no need for you to pick Gigi on the selector, but of course both are good units. On the topic of this banner, let's briefly touch on a guideline of how to go about picking a unit. While Ines is my best value pick, if you already have her, then the next 2 best options go to either of the blonde guards if you are missing any DPS, or if you are missing utility, the best pick goes to Ascalon. If you have all those units or don't want any of them, then the standard flowchart applies. If you are lacking any amount of DPS on your roster, pick a unit that fills that gap first. If you have all the DPS you need, then look into utility roles that need to be filled. And lastly, fill any defensive or healing gaps on your roster. That is all. I hope this was helpful. Till next time.